Quick sound check. Can you give me a sound check? Can everybody hear me? Let me know you can hear me. Let me know the sound's clear. And then we're going to get going, yeah? I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for making this video. But it is what it is. All clear, yeah? All right, let's do this. But then we do the disclaimer, yeah? I haven't had any medication for a while. I've been off medication for a while. I'm not in a good mood today. Now, let me start off by saying the following, all right? I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for making this video. No? I'm expecting to wake up tomorrow to an inbox full of all sorts. The usuals. People making videos about you, people threatening you, people wanting your phone number, send me your addy, so-and-so is looking for you. I heard so-and-so boxer talking about you. I went down the gym last week and I heard so-and-so fighters are asking about you and asking where they can find you. I'm expecting a whole inbox of that, yeah, to come tomorrow as a result of this video. But the British media are an absolute disgrace. They're an absolute disgrace. How can you do an interview with an Eddie Hearn or a Dillian Whyte? How can you sit down with these people for the best part of 15, 20 minutes at a time and just somehow to forget to ask every single question that means anything or every single question that matters? I tell you why. It's fear, isn't it? And there's nothing wrong with being scared. I'm scared. Listen, I'm probably the most scared person in the United Kingdom. I suffer from anxiety about all sorts. There ain't that much that I'm not scared of. I'm scared. I'm scared of Dillian Whyte. Absolutely. Put me face to face with Dillian Whyte, I'd shit my pants. The guy is a 6'7", 250-pound wrecking machine. Of course I'd be scared. Scared of Dean Whyte? Absolutely. Less scared of Dean Whyte, to be honest, because I think Dean Whyte's more of a reasonable person. Dean Whyte's actually a really cool guy. And like I said before, anytime Dean Whyte wants to come on this show, he's welcome. I will talk to Dean Whyte in a second, because I think Dean Whyte's a reasonable person. And I've got a lot of time for Dean Whyte. So Dean Whyte I don't have a problem with. But am I scared of Dillian Whyte? Abso-fucking-lutely. Am I scared of Dean Whyte? Absolutely. Am I scared of the repercussions of asking certain questions? Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. But doesn't mean that you shouldn't ask the questions, does it? And that's what's going on in the British media, isn't it? A bunch of interviewers are scared to ask the right questions, innit? They're scared to ask Dillian Whyte questions about B samples. They're scared to ask Dillian Whyte questions about his own accusations. We're going to talk about some of the stuff that he's been saying about other fighters, because a lot of the talk's been about Dillian Whyte and B samples, but we're going to take a little look at some of the other drug accusations that Dillian Whyte's been making against other fighters. All this stuff that these journalists forget to ask. It's because they're scared, isn't it? I'd be scared too. I'd be scared to ask Dillian Whyte these questions, but doesn't mean that we shouldn't ask. And that right there is the problem, isn't it, in the British media? When you're scared to ask the fair questions, for me, the line is abuse. If we started abusing Dillian Whyte and saying, you know, abusing Dillian Whyte for the color of his skin, or making, you know, unsubstantiated accusations against Dillian Whyte, or saying things about him personally, or saying things about his family, well, that's where the line is drawn, in my opinion. That's when, in my opinion, all bets are off. And he has every right to come out and start knocking people out unconscious, right? Because that's when all bets are off. When you start making it personal about race or about people's families, that's when, yeah, all bets are off, right? But we're not doing that, are we? We're just asking the decent and proper questions. But there seems to be this culture of fear, doesn't there? It's interesting, isn't it? There seems to be this culture of fear being perpetuated by a couple of people, innit? Well, you can't ask Dillian that because he might get angry. And you can't say that because he might come looking for you. Or you can't say that because so-and-so might ask for your address. Or you can't say that because one of his mates in the media might turn around and start making accusations against you or calling you out. You can't say that. And then how is that journalism? How is that journalism? How can you call yourself a fucking journalist? So let me clarify by saying this. Yes, I'm scared. There's nothing wrong with being scared. Nothing wrong with being scared. There's nothing wrong with it. It's how you deal with it is what counts. But I have a right to ask these questions. I have an absolute right to ask these questions. Let's start with Dillian Whyte. Let's start with PED accusations first and foremost, right? Because I'm still waiting for an answer on this. And the whole point of this is, what I'm going to do is, right, I'm going to explain in this show that I don't have anything personally against Dillian Whyte as a human being. I don't really have much against Dillian Whyte as a fighter. My point about Dillian Whyte is there are so many hypocrisies and contradictions in the things that he says, right? And he gets away with it because there's a media in place that's too scared to ask him the right questions. And they're too scared to ask him the right questions because I think, they're scared of physical violence. Would you agree with that, or would you not agree with that, chat? Would you say it's fair to ask that certain people in the media don't want to ask the most obvious questions of this man, or they don't want to call out this man's obvious contradictions because they're scared? They're scared that they're going to get an email, or they're scared that someone's going to try and knock on their door, or they're scared that one of his media friends is going to start calling them out, or, these kind of things. Stuff that I have to deal with, by the way, every single day. Do you think I'm right or not? Let me know. Let's start off with with contradiction one. Let's start off with contradiction one. This is June the 4th, 2019. Anthony Joshua's just been knocked out by Andy Ruiz in New York, right? Dillian Whyte made the following claims about Anthony Joshua. I'm going to read. This is a quote from the Daily Mirror, all right? I tell you what. Here you go. There's the source. I've even put the source in the comment section. This is what Dillian Whyte is quoted as saying about Anthony Joshua and performance-enhancing drugs. It's because you're in America with the VADA testing and you're not on the juice. That's why. This is Dillian Whyte quoted by the Daily Mirror. So don't sue me. This is the Daily Mirror. It says, Joshua could be heard on camera asking his trainer, Rob McCracken, why do I feel like this after the 6th round? Whyte told his YouTube channel. They then quoted Dillian Whyte as saying, it's because you're in America with the VADA testing and you're not on the juice. That's why. It's harder to get therapeutic use exemptions in America than the UK. That's why. The Daily Mirror then go on to say, Whyte has labelled similar accusations at Joshua before and responded to the defeat on Sunday. They're talking about him responding to AJ's defeat on Sunday by posting a video of the Verve song, The Drugs Don't Work. So here's my question. Daily Mirror has quoted Dillian Whyte of making unfounded performance-enhancing drug allegations against Anthony Joshua. By the way, I'm not sure Dillian Whyte's that far off the money with some of this stuff he's saying. That's my own personal opinion. I'm not saying Dillian Whyte is the stuff he's saying is factually incorrect or wrong. I'm not saying that, right? He might be onto something, okay? But the point is, in the past, Dillian Whyte has made or thrown accusations about performance-enhancing drugs out in public about other fighters. So why is it a sin for people like us in the media or people like us to ask questions about his own B sample and what happened to it and what happened with UCAD and what was the situation and did he even fail a test? I've never even seen any confirmation that he even failed a dope test. I've never seen any confirmation of that. Eddie Hearn was pressed on that, and last time I checked, he refused to answer. So that's my first question. Do you guys in the chat think I'm right for saying that or wrong? If you think I'm wrong, just drop me a comment and I'll read it out. Do you think there's a contradiction in terms there? That it's okay for Dillian Whyte to throw out allegations that certain fighters are losing fights because the drug testing is a lot stricter in America than it is in the UK, and they can't get away with the stuff that they get away with in the UK and the States. But then when he has his own sort of trials and tribulations when it comes to UCAD, we're then cast to silence. We're then not allowed to ask any questions. There are threats of legal action being posted around. People are being threatened with legal action for asking questions People in some cases, I know for a fact, some people in some cases are receiving physical threats. I'm pretty sure some people were receiving, basically, look, if you keep talking about this, you're not going to be talking for much longer. Do you think that's fair? Do you think what I'm saying is fair? Do you think that's a blatant contradiction? Why is it the media don't ask Dillian that? That's my point. Why is it nobody's ever asked him that? In all these years of doing interviews, have you ever seen anybody ask him why it's okay for him to say those things about Anthony Joshua, but it's not okay for other people to push him and ask questions on some of his own in-house issues? It's funny, isn't it? I thought we had media for a reason. That's me. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. I thought we had British media for a reason. Obviously, I'm wrong about that. I thought it was the media's job to question these things, right? And to ask questions. Again, it's not the media's job to abuse people. It's not the media's job to push out unfounded accusations against people. It's the media's job to ask questions, to push back. Second point, all right, about this British media. And don't worry, we'll get on to Otto Wallin in just a sec, but I'm just setting this up. Second point about the British media. When Dillian had his issues, right? When Dillian Whyte had his issues before the Oscar Rivas fight, the British media almost sort of closed ranks, didn't they? They sort of closed ranks. And they refused to ask the questions that matter, didn't they, really, about, you know, what went on. But you know what the British media did do? The British media were happy to put out completely untrue and unfounded accusations about Oscar Rivas. Do you remember that? Funny how the British media works, isn't it? It's funny, isn't it? The British media weren't happy to ask Dillian Whyte the relevant questions, yeah, about the nature of what happened between him and UK anti-doping before the Oscar Rivas fight. But the same media who are basically closing ranks were happy to put out rumours, completely untrue and unfounded rumours about Oscar Rivas. Now, you may remember, in a past life, we had somebody come on this channel on a live. Somebody who had direct involvement in that Oscar Rivas situation. And we asked them, and I asked that person directly, I said, why did you do that? Why did you put out why did you put out rumours? Rumours that could potentially damage a man's career for life. Why did you put that stuff out of there if you were not 100% sure, or if you did not receive 100% proof that that was the case? And I would also ask the same question of the media channel on YouTube, who allowed that stuff to be published out on the internet. Why would you allow that stuff? Why would you allow such serious accusations about a fighter to be published without fact-checking, without knowing for sure that they were true? Can you see the contradiction here? Seems like if it's a foreign fighter, all of a sudden, all bets are off, isn't it? And that's going to be a theme throughout today's show, isn't it? Seems to be that if a foreign fighter is affected, then the British media seems like all bets are off. All of a sudden, this code of morality and decency goes out the window, and we can start throwing out false accusations against fighters. We can start falling out, you know. We can start throwing out accusations about other fighters that are completely unfounded. And the media will print this stuff. They won't even fact check it. They'll just print it out as fact. Or they'll just put it out there to damage the man's career. It's funny how it works, isn't it? I asked the person involved. Dillian's my brethren. That's the answer I got. That's the answer I got back. Dillian's my brethren. I heard from a source. I believe the source to be true. It is what it is. That's basically what I heard from that individual. Let me tell you something, and I'm going to say this now. The individual who I'm referring to, I believe to actually be, and I will say this now, all right? I believe that individual deep down is not a bad person. And that's why I've consistently, and I'll say their name now. This is the last time hopefully this is the last time I'll say their name. I believe that deep down Spencer Fearing has a lot of good in him. I know for a fact he does some good. in the community. And I know for a fact he's helped me in the past. And I tell you what, I'm going off topic, but I want to quickly say, I would love it if Spencer Fearon went back to talking about boxing and not getting involved in beef and all this other stuff, which is going around on the internet, which is really, really going to start blowing up within the next couple of weeks, unfortunately. You know, I would love to see Spencer Fearon get back to talking about boxing because he's a very, very knowledgeable guy. And I think, like I said before, there's a lot of good there. He's got a lot of good in his heart, but some of the decision-making I would question. Some of the things he says I would question. He knows that. I've said that to him before. But I would have him on this show in a heartbeat to talk about boxing because I think that deep down he knows a lot about the sport. He brings a lot of value to the sport. And I think when you keep him on topic and when you keep him talking about boxing and don't use him as a fucking beef magnet to try and stir up views for your channel, then I think there's a lot of good that he can bring. He's always welcome on this channel. And I think, like I said, I think he makes a lot of mistakes, but I think he's actually a good person. So that's the last thing I'm saying about that. And I'll say that the same for Tunde Ajayi as well. Tunde Ajayi, I would have Tunde Ajayi on this channel in a heartbeat. Because I don't think Tunde Ajayi is that bad of a person. I've spoken to him before. I agree, Dave. I think he's very knowledgeable. And the same for Tunde. But it is what it is. But like I said before, all I'll say, the last thing is this. This YouTube beef is getting really, really stupid. And it's going to get quite serious because I tell you now, people's personal information, I'm not talking about Spencer Fearon now, by the way, but I'm saying a lot of people's personal information is going to get posted online, I feel, in the next 2 weeks. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, I've already seen bits and bobs of stuff flying about, and it's not good. And I don't want no part of it. And if people want to say, Ultra, you're scared of this, that's fine. I'm scared. I don't want no part of this stuff because I know where this stuff is going, and I know exactly how this stuff was going to end up. And it's not going to end up very well. That's all I'm going to say. So let me say that the British media seems like when it's a foreign fighter, all bets are off. Don't mention other channels on this thing. Delete that message. Don't mention other channels. I don't want no part of it. I'm not involved in it. So anybody mentioning other names of other channels, delete the message. I'm not interested. I'm not getting involved in that. I know exactly how that's going to end up. I know exactly how that's going to end up. Right. Let's move on to number 2 before we get on to the Otto Wallin fight. So that's my second point. Why is it okay for the British media to print unsubstantiated allegations about foreign fighters and PD usage, but we don't ask the relevant questions, or we're too scared to ask the relevant questions on our own fighters? Right? That's my point. I'm making this clear. I'm not trying to start beef. I'm not calling anybody out. All right? Just understand what I'm saying, because people will try and twist up what I'm saying. 3, and we'll make this very quick, and then we'll skip on to the Eddie Hearn interview on IFL TV. If you do a Google search on Dillian Whyte coward, do you know how many search results come back? Do you know how many search results come back if you just do a simple Google search on Dillian Whyte and coward? A lot. You know why? This guy is always calling out other fighters and calling other fighters cowards. He even calls fighters cowards who aren't even signed up to fight him. So, like, he never had an agreement. As far as I'm aware, he never signed the contract with Andrew Ruiz, but he's out in the media calling Andrew Ruiz a coward for not taking a fight with me. Luis Ortiz is a coward. Tyson Fury's a coward. Deontay Wilder's a coward. This man gets free reign in the media to call all these fighters coward, coward, coward. And we print this stuff. We print this stuff non-stop. Look, you can see the search results. We print this stuff non-stop, right? How many times has the media asked him, Dillian, why did you turn down 2 eliminators for a world title and an Anthony Joshua fight for 3 titles? Why do we never ask him that? Why do we never ask him that? Are we not allowed to ask these questions of Dillian because he's 6'8" and 250 pounds, right? Are we not allowed to ask these questions? People say, well, you wouldn't say it to his face. So hold on a minute. What would happen if I asked Dillian Whyte to his face? If I asked Dillian Whyte this question to his face, I should get beaten up, should I? I should get punched in the face for asking Dillian Whyte why it's okay for him to call other fighters cowards, but it's not all right for people to question why he's turned down 2 fucking final eliminators with Luis Ortiz and Kubrat Pulev and refused to fight Anthony Joshua for 3 titles. I should be punched in the face for that, should I? Is that what should happen? I should be beaten up for that. Should I have my house address given out? Should I have my house address given out? Should people come after my other half because I'm willing to ask the questions that other people won't? Is that what's going on? Is this what we call journalism? The other one I want to quickly say is this whole BS about friends. You've probably heard this before, and I'm going to say this now. Don't mention other channels because I'm not interested in getting involved in that YouTube beef. Because I know for a fact, in the next few weeks, it's really going to go down. And I don't want to get involved in that. I knew that from the start anyway. Obvious what was going to happen from the start. Because people's personal information is all out over the internet and people are posting it and all sorts. Addresses, all sorts I've seen this week. So I know what's coming. I don't want any. Yes, I'm scared. Put me down. If you want to put me down as a pussy, I'm a pussy. Absolutely. But guess what? I'm one of the only pussies out there that are actually asking these questions. It's funny how that works, isn't it? What's this thing about friends? I keep hearing this shit. So-and-so is a friend of mine. So-and-so is a close friend of mine. So you can't ask the right questions. You can't ask the right questions. Or you can't... Do you know what a true friend does? Ironically, that's how you know you're not friends with Dillian Whyte. Do you understand how stupid these people are? Oh, I'm his friend. I'm his mate. Shall I tell you how I know you're not his mate? Because real friends ask tough questions of their other friends. You know what? Do you know Chevin, yeah? I've never met this guy in my life. I've never even spoken. The only time I've ever spoken to Chevin is on this channel, right? I actually spoken in the voice, right? Do you know, yeah? If I come out with some BS, Chevin of all people would call me out on that in a heartbeat. He would say, nah, G, you're talking shit. Nah, that's not right. Why are you doing that for? Nah, I disagree with that. That's what friends do. Real friends turn around and say, nah, you're wrong. What you're saying is BS. Stop saying that shit. What you're saying is bullshit. Stop saying. That's what real friends do. Real friends don't turn around and say, no, I'm not going to ask those questions. I'm not going to answer those questions because so-and-so is my mate. Well, that's how you know so-and-so isn't your mate. These people are fucking deluded and they need to pull their head out their fucking ass super quick because it's embarrassing to watch. It's embarrassing. It's fucking embarrassing. I haven't even got onto the Eddie Hearn interview yet. I mean, if you've just started listening, you're in for a treat. Because wait till I get around to this Eddie Hearn interview in just a sec. But that's bizarre, isn't it? I mean, let me tell you something. When you've got certain members of the media pretending to be friends with fighters, that's when you know you're fucked anyway, right? But I'm just saying. Oh, Dillian's my friend. So I'm not going to ask the proper questions about Dillian. I'm not going to ask about Dillian's B sample. I'm not going to ask where Dillian's B sample is. Do you know what the funny thing is? And I say it before and I say it again. These people are taking your fucking money. And that's what I'll never understand, how you give money to people who are obviously in the tank. How are you giving these people money? What needs to happen is, right, people need to turn around and say, do you know what? We're going to stop giving these people money. The reason why I don't monetize on YouTube, right? Do you know why I don't monetize on YouTube? Because I'm a grown fucking man. I don't use YouTube to pay my fucking bills. I'm a grown man. If you want to earn a living, right, earn a living properly. Or if you want to earn a living from YouTube, then you have to cover it with a certain amount of dignity. But if you're going to take people's money to do something, yeah, then you can't be doing a half-assed job. People have asked me over the years, Ultra, are you biased? Yes, I'm biased. That's why I'm not taking your money. I am biased. Everybody's biased. Everybody's got their favorites. We're human. Nobody's completely down the middle. There's nothing wrong with it. But when you start taking people's money, i.e. monthly fees, you're taking monthly fees of people. But then when it comes time to ask the questions that matter, I'm not going to ask that question because he's my friend. And people fucking pay for this stuff. No, what you need to do is be a fucking grown-up. Go out into the real world and get a job like everybody else does and earn an honest day's living. And that's the reason why I never monetize and never will and never have. In fact, I take that back. Maybe it was a choice between, like I said, if it came to be a choice between monetizing my YouTube and being a rent boy out on the streets, then I might have to go back on my word. But you get my picture, right? You get my drift, right? Proper embarrassing. Do you guys think I'm wrong with that? Do you guys think I'm wrong about that? All right. You ever heard that? I've never heard of true friends. I've never heard of true friends who are afraid to criticize their friends. Tells me that you're not a friend. In fact, I know he's not your friend because you don't pick up your phone call. Like, come on, man. Who are you fooling? You're not fooling nobody with this stuff, man. You're not fooling nobody with this stuff. You're not fooling anybody, man. It's embarrassing. Let's get on to this interview with Dillian Whyte. Hold on. No friend. There's no friends in this game. Keep giving me interviews. Keep giving me inside information. Do you think Dillian... Let me tell you something about Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte is not stupid. Right? Dillian Whyte is not a stupid individual. Dillian Whyte is a smart individual. He's his own manager. He knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. Do you think when Dillian Whyte picks up his phone and sees certain people are calling him and texting him, do you think he thinks, oh, that's my friend, I'll get back to them? Of course not. He looks at his phone when he's sitting on a fucking toilet, has a quick snigger, puts the fucking phone down on the sink and picks up the toilet tissue and starts wiping his ass. He doesn't look at these people as fucking friends. Give me a break with this shit. Give me a fucking break with this shit. Let me tell you what a true friend does. A true friend does this, right? This is what a true friend does. And I'm not saying this for clout, yeah? I'm not saying this to try and big myself up. I'm giving you an example, right? Richard Poxon used to be the promoter for ITV Box Office. You guys know who Richard Poxon is, yeah? Used to be the promoter for ITV Box Office. Do you know Richard Poxon is going through a very, very tough personal situation, right? AKA one of his family members is very, 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 very ill, all right? I saw Richard Poxon last night. I hit him up on Twitter in DMs. I just said, Richard, I'm just checking in. Are you hanging in there? I'm not checking to see, Richard, what can I get from you? Richard, can you come on my show? Richard, can you give me some information? Richard, can you do something for me? I'll make a point of doing that. I'll make a point of saying, Richard, just saying, are you hanging in there? Just to let the guy know, look, it ain't about business for me. I want to know if you're okay because I know you're going through a very, very tough time. And I've done that with numerous boxers. Darryl Williams is another one. I've done it with numerous boxers. Scott Cardle. Done that with numerous boxers and people in the media. And they'll tell you that. I'll ping them just to say, yo, how you doing? How's things going? How your family doing? Are you okay? It's not just about what can I get from you? What can I use you for? These fighters aren't stupid. They know all these dudes are pretending to be their friend to get fucking interviews and to get exclusives. They're not stupid. That's why when they see you pick up the phone, that's why you go straight to voicemail. Do you think these guys are from the hood as well? Dillian and Dillian Whyte are from the straight up hood. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Let me know. I hope this show isn't boring, you guys. If it's boring, let me know and I'll switch it up. I apologize. I'm just telling you how it is, man. Because there's a lot of bullets flying around at the minute. 81 people, 32 likes. Listen, I think we can hit the like button a little bit more, but it's down to you, yeah? Let's hit this like button a little bit more. I respect Chevin. Yeah, I'm not gonna bring that comment up, Chevin. But yeah, you my nigga. We know you're my nigga. It's cool. Chevin's my nigga. That's how it is. That's how it goes. Do you know what I mean? But if you get into a fight, you're on your own. All right, let's cover the Hearn interview. This is another thing about British boxing media. Do you know how embarrassing this is? Let me turn this shit up. I can't show you it, but let me turn this shit up. One sec. Listen to this. This is Eddie Hearn talking about Dillian Whyte's injury. Can you fucking believe the fucking nerve of this? Listen to this now, and then I'm going to show you something. Right? And this is why we need to ask questions, because I think it's possible. Shall I tell you what I think about Dillian Whyte? Shall I tell you what I think? I'll tell you now. I'll give you my opinion. I think Dillian Whyte is injured. That's my opinion. I believe Dillian Whyte is injured. Whether the injury is enough to really stop him from fighting to stop him fighting Otto Wallin, I'm not sure. I definitely believe that Dillian Whyte picked up an injury in camp. What I'm not sure about is if the injury really stopping him fighting Otto Wallin. AKA, my belief is if he got the similar injury, my belief is that if he got a similar injury in a run-up to a Tyson Fury fight for the WBC, then I wonder if he'd go through it, take medication, do something, do whatever. I could be wrong on that. And Dillian, unlike these other fools, yeah, if I'm wrong, do I not come on this channel and say, guys, I got it wrong? Do I ever disappear? Hey, when my fighter loses, do I ever switch up on him when he gets beat? Or do I just say, yo, it's boxing, it's life. In life, you take L's. In life, you get beaten up. In life, you get humiliated. Hey, that's life. All these dudes who want to beat me up, they're sending me threats. Getting beat up is part of life. Losing's part of life. Getting humiliated is part of life. Let me play this. Hold on. This is embarrassing. Hold on. I've got to play it, but not show it, yeah? For obvious reasons. This is Eddie Hearn on Dillian Whyte's injury.
He's got a shoulder problem. We don't think it'll be an issue. No problem. He went back. He sparred, I think, once at the weekend. He sparred on the Monday. He had to stop after, I think it was 7 or 8 rounds on Monday. In pain. In a lot of pain. And
do you hear that? He said Dillian Whyte had to stop sparring after 7, 8 rounds because he was in pain. He was in a lot of pain. Hold on a minute. Let's just hear this again.
We don't think it'll be an issue. No problem. He went back. He sparred, I think, once at the weekend. He sparred on the Monday. He had to stop after, I think it was 7 or 8 rounds on Monday. In pain. In a lot of pain.
So he said Dillian was in a lot of pain. This is Dillian Whyte on Talk Sport yesterday. Who can see the problem with this? And again, I'm not saying Dillian Whyte's not injured. What I'm saying is, yeah, let me tell you something before I play this video. Do you realise that if the British boxing media actually asked the fucking right questions and got to the bottom of this, do you realise all these conspiracies would stop? Do you realise that? Do you realise all these stupid conspiracy theories would stop? The reason why these conspiracy theories exist is because the media, the people with the access, don't ask the right questions. That's why they're conspiracies. Let's have a look at this. This is Dillian Whyte yesterday. Who can spot the problem with this?
Fury got the world title, and that's what I've been waiting for. That's what I've worked for. And that's what, you know what I mean, I've paid, I didn't know my sanctioning fees. I've paid towards the belt along with weight or patience. I could have easily abandoned this route and gone down another route like years ago, but I've waited and I've waited and I've waited and waited and I've pursued and delayed and waited. So what am I going to do? Obviously, Otto Wallin is handpicked cherry. You know, obviously, fight Otto Wallin, I fight.
Who could spot the problem with what's going on in this interview? And I could be, but I see an interview like this, and straight away red flags start going up. I'll even play it without the sound in the background. Who can see a problem with what Eddie Hearn said and what Dillian Whyte said? And again, I definitely believe that Dillian Whyte's injured. I believe he's picked up some kind of injury. But can you see the difference between what Hearn has just said and what's going on here? Dave Lane, he's moving them arms an awful lot. for somebody who was in so much pain they had to stop sparring, them arms are moving around an awful lot. Maybe he's had painkillers. Maybe something's happened. But can you see that? Everybody, I'm not everybody on the internet who sees this was thinking the same thing. You just had the promoter come on IFL TV and say that this man was in so much pain. He was in so much pain he had to stop sparring after 7 or 8 rounds. Less than 24 hours later, this man's been interviewed on fucking Talk Sport, moving his arm. He's doing more fucking hand signals than Michael Jackson on the fucking Dangerous tour back in the year 95. Dillian Whyte's cutting more shapes in this video than B2K backup dancers. But his promoter was on fucking IFL TV 2 minutes ago saying this man was in excruciating pain, basically. So, what the fuck? I believe he's injured. I believe he's definitely picked up an injury. I'm not saying Dillian Whyte's faking it. I believe he's injured. My question, though, isn't whether Dillian Whyte is injured or not. My question is, what is the state of that injury? How bad is it? And does it really stop him from fighting Otto Wallin? And that's a question. And I feel like, especially after seeing this interview, I feel like I'm entitled to ask that question. Do you think that's fair? Yes or no? Do you think that's fair of me to ask that question? Or do you think that Dillian Whyte should be coming down to my house and beating me up for asking that question? This man's cutting shapes. Look at his hands. This man out here cutting shapes. This man out here cutting shapes on Talk Sport. But his promoter's saying that he's in fucking agony. What do you guys think about that? Chris S thinks I'm fair to ask that question. It's just a question. That's my point. What's wrong with asking the question? Listen, it's very simple. I would ask the question and Eddie Hearn would turn around and say, no, Ultra, blah, blah, blah. It's not a problem. Or Eddie Hearn would say, no, here's the scan. His shoulders are absolutely foobarred. And I would say, okay, that's fine. You've answered the question. What's wrong with answering the question? Richard's saying which arm because he's waving that right arm around. I'm seeing both arms moving. I'll play it one more time. But anyway, look, I'm just saying, look, both arms, it's bizarre. I'm just saying, listen, everybody not everybody, a lot of people who have seen this, look at the first comments. You think I'm the only one? Look. First comment, shoulders look okay. What the fuck? There's an obvious disconnect, yeah, between what's happening in this interview and what Eddie Hearn is saying on IFL TV. But the media won't ask any questions, will they? But when it's Daniel Dubois, as Boxing Madness comes out and says, when it's Daniel Dubois, when it's a non-Matchroom, non-MTK fighter, all of a sudden it's a different story, isn't it? It's a different ball game. It's funny how this works. We can ask questions then, can't we? When it's a non-Matchroom, non-MTK fighter, all of a sudden we can start asking all the questions we want, right? Is that how it works, or am I right? Is that am I wrong or am I right about that? Is it different when a non-Matchroom fighter gets pulls out of a fight or claims an injury? When a non-Matchroom fighter claims injury, do we start asking for scans like Eddie Hearn did? Do we start asking for people's medical scans to be posted online to prove that they're injured? Do we start saying actually they're not really injured, they just lack heart, they lack bottle? Is that what we say? Do we go and release 150 interviews like this from you know who? Get carried out of the ring, brother. Did he get carried out of the ring? By the way, did Billy Joe Saunders get carried out of the ring against Canelo? Remember this interview? Get carried out of the ring, brother. Did Billy Joe get carried out of the ring? Funny that, isn't it? It's almost like there's an agenda there, isn't there? Can't quite put my finger on what's going on. Oh, look who's this? Daniel Dubois quit. Oh, there we go. So it seems like there's a different standard, isn't there? Funny that, isn't it? Strange. It's almost like there's some kind of agenda going on, but I can't quite put my finger on what that agenda is. Did Kugan Cassius ask Eddie Hearn about scans for Dillian Whyte? Has anybody asked? I'm still waiting for the scans for Billy Joe Saunders. Do you remember those scans? Where are the Billy Joe Saunders scans? I'm still waiting for the Billy Joe Saunders scans from fucking months ago. Where are those scans? Has anybody in the boxing media pulled up Eddie Hearn on that and said, Eddie, you know, why is it you ask for scans of proof when it's a non-match and fighter, but when match and fighters get eye injuries, all of a sudden that burden of proof doesn't rest on you? So that's my point. But I should be beaten up for asking these questions, right? That's what should happen, right? Is that right? I should be beaten up for asking these questions. Other YouTubers should make videos about me. Come and have a spar with me. Come and have a spar with me, Ultra. Come to my gym, Ultra. I'll fight you, Ultra. Come and have a spar, Ultra. Because you're asking questions about my friend Dillian. Or you're asking questions about my favourite promoter, Eddie. Come and have a spar. The fuck? Grown men are doing this shit. You look at my notes again. Abdul, do you want to come on if you're still listening? Because you're welcome to come on. I sent you an email, Abdul. So if you want to come on, you can come on. Let me finish up with the final things, and then if people want to come on, they can come on. Ultra, I'm gonna beat you up. Ultra, you're nothing. Ultra, we know who you are. This and that. Listen, I don't look for trouble. Do you know why? Because I can't fight. But if trouble finds you, it's a different ball game. I don't look for trouble, but if trouble finds you, then it's a different ball game, isn't it? Let's look at something else quickly before we get on. Abdul, if you want to come on, let me know. Daryl, if you're listening, Daryl, I don't think you are, but if you want to jump on, you can jump on. Shevin, if you want to jump on, you can jump on. It's not a problem. Let me finish up with this. This guy, Nick Pete. This is one of the most embarrassing bits of journalism I've seen this week. And, you know, considering we've had a belly full of Kugan Cassius, that is saying something. But not even Kugan is this bad. This is the British media in a nutshell. He says, right, Whyte withdrawal makes boxing and business sense when you're not only WBC boxing mandatory, but only available dance partner for Tyson Fury heading into 2022. Why risk another Povetkin-style upset? How can anybody in the media who is taking money for a living, post this crap with a straight face? Exactly. William Angel nails it. It makes sense to screw over Wallin a week before the fight. See, that's how you know that the majority of these guys in the media have not ever put on gloves. That's just how you know. Listen, for me personally, right, I could be wrong. And Nick, if I'm wrong and you have put on gloves, I apologize, right? But there are certain giveaways, right, when you talk to somebody about boxing that tell you straight away, this person has never wrapped their hands in their life. I promise you, one of the first signs to me that somebody hasn't put gloves on in their life is the first thing they do is start talking about resume. As soon as I hear that word, if I hear that word resume come out in the first fucking 10 seconds, that straight away tells me there's a very, very low chance that this person's ever stepped in a boxing gym in their life. Right? Because they would know normally that certain styles cause certain fighters problems. It's the old adage is style makes fights. But these box rec warriors who go on about, when I hear this, who's his best win? Who's his best win? Straight away when I hear that, the first thing that comes to my head is there's a less than 10% chance that this person's ever fucking put gloves on in their entire life. And once I've deducted that, my ear holes close. I stop listening to those people. I seriously, and people can say what they want. I just stop listening to those people. Who's his best win? I just think that's it. I'm switched off. I'm not engaging with these people. I'm only interested in speaking to people who know about the sport. I'm not interested in box rec warriors, right? Nick Pete says, White withdrawal makes boxing and business sense. How did it make sense for Otto Wallin, who spent around 20 grand on fucking training camp, Nick Pete? How does that make sense for Otto Wallin? Are you going to reimburse him for the fucking money that he just spent on training camp and trainers? Who's going to reimburse him that money? Who's going to give him the money back that he just wasted? Do you know that they say, let me know if I'm wrong about this, they say that Otto Wallin was on his way to the fucking airport to come to the UK when he found out that Dillian Whyte was pulling out of that fight? Do you know how embarrassing that is? This man was on his way to the fucking airport to fly to the UK. And he gets a phone call and says, the fight's off. And you got members of the British boxing media that's saying that's good for business. Is this a fucking joke? Is it serious? Members of the media, this guy's making money. He's telling people it's good for business. Is it good for Otto Wallin's business that he just spent 20 fucking K on a training camp? He was on the way to a flight and then he was told at the last minute, by the way, we don't need you anymore. Can you imagine if somebody had done that to Dillian Whyte? Can you imagine if that had been if the shoe had been on the other foot? If Dillian Whyte was on a plane to go and fight Deontay Wilder and Deontay Wilder told him right at the last minute, just before he's about to board the flight, by the way, I'm pulling out of this fight, so don't bother turning up. Do you think that the British media would, if the shoe was on the other foot, be saying, oh, well, makes good sense for Deontay Wilder? Do you think these same guys would be coming out and saying this stuff? Of course not. They'd be peddling the bollocks, wouldn't they? Wilder's a coward. Wilder's a coward. Wilder's a coward. Why don't these guys want to fight Dillian Whyte? Why are these guys running away from Dillian Whyte? Why do these guys not want to fight Dillian Whyte? Why is everybody? Why? Can you understand? And continue to push these conspiracy theories. Continue to push all these conspiracy theories that there's a global conspiracy against Dillian Whyte. None of this is Dillian Whyte's fault, right? What happened before the Oscar Rivas fight? Oscar Rivas was sent into a ring with somebody who potentially failed a drugs test, and nobody told Oscar Rivas, oh, is that just good for business as well? Is that good for business? Can somebody answer that question? Oscar Rivas getting in a ring with somebody. Oscar Rivas getting punched in the head with somebody who potentially had a problem, right? Who potentially had a problem with UCAD and nobody told him. Was that good for business as well? Oh, I forgot. Oscar Rivas is fair game, isn't he? Because he's not from the UK. My bad. I forgot. He's fair game, right? Is he fair game, right? Because he's not from the UK. He's not a British boxer, so he's fair game, yeah? Right, I get it. He's fair game. And when people like me, and let me tell you something, the fact that people like me, small-time channels who don't make any money, yeah? The fact that small-time channels that don't make any money have to step in for the paid media to ask these questions tells you what is going on is an absolute joke. I can't believe that. That people just going to cast away, forget Wallin. Forget it, you know. And you want people to say, what's this crap about Babbage? What's this crap about Babbage? Oh, just fight Babbage. What the fuck? Again, another sign that these people probably never stepped in a boxing gym in their life. What do you mean, just fight Babbage? Stop making out these Victor Barda accounts, man. Come on, man. Stop making up these Victor Barda accounts, man. But seriously, do you know what I'm saying? Just fight Alan Babbage. Well, hold on a minute. How does that work? So Otto Wallin's been preparing for the last Lord knows how many months for Dillian Whyte. All his sparring, all his tactics Everything he's done in camp has been predicated around fighting Dillian Whyte. And now all of a sudden you spring it on him, or you can fight Alan Babbage at short notice. Were they going to pay him the same purse? Does anybody know that? Was Otto Wallin going to get the same purse he would have got for fighting Dillian Whyte as he would have got for fighting Babbage? Does anybody ask that? This is embarrassing. Oh, we just fight Babbage. Do you know what that's called? Do you know what that stuff's called? That's called bait and switch. Do you not know how these scams work? That is a classic bait and switch. But these IFL TV viewers, they'll be like, yeah, hey, Wallin, if you're a real man, then you'll fight Babbage, yeah. What the fuck? Like I said before, that's the reason, like I said before, well, half of them, like I said, Monday morning, first thing, they'll be down Bright House. I promise you. All these IFL TV guys who are turning around saying shit like, well, why don't he fight Alan Babbage? Do you know where they'll be first thing in the morning? They'll be down here. This is where they'll be. Bright House. Brighthouse.com. There you go. This is where they'll be. Brighthouse.com, pawning the TV. Are you struggling to pay your debt? Are you kept awake at night because you're struggling to pay your debts? Well, if so, you can give Debt KO a call. Maybe if they fucking spent more time invested in their own resume instead of talking about other people's resumes, maybe they wouldn't need to go to Debt KO to get their debt sorted. Funny that, isn't it? Funny how it works, isn't it? One of life's little ironies. Maybe if these IFL TV subs, spent more time polishing up their own resume instead of talking about other fighters' resumes, then they wouldn't need to be phoning up Debt KO, would they? Monday morning, this is where you'll see them. Bright House, pawning the TV. I guarantee you. That's where you'll see them. Bright House. Monday morning with the 50-inch flat screen, and they'll be turning up and they'll be telling the clerk, now listen, don't sell this TV because I'm definitely gonna come back and bring the money next week. Promise me, don't give this TV to nobody. Make sure you put it in the back and wrap it up. Honestly, I'm just short of cash. I'll be back first thing next week with the money. And then they go on IFL TV comment section. Yo, why can't Wallin fight Babbage? Bait and switch. What the fuck would he fight Babbage for? He's a few fights away from getting a shot at the WBC title. He's a few fights away from getting a significant fight. Why would he get in there with Babbage for? Hardy says Alan Babbage said in an interview that Dillian was having problems with his shoulders for weeks and apparently it got worse. I'm fine with that. I believe he's injured. I believe Dillian Whyte has a shoulder problem. I tell you what I'd like to see though, Harley. I'd like to see the British media asking for the scans the same way we did for Daniel Dubois. That's what I'd like to see. Bit of proof. What I'm asking for, the standard I'm holding Dillian Whyte and Eddie Hearn to is no different to the standard that these same people hold non-matching fighters to. I'm not asking for anything they haven't asked of anybody else, right? Right? That's what we spoke about in the beginning of this interview, right? That's what we spoke about in the beginning of this interview. It's okay for Dillian Whyte to accuse Anthony Joshua of using performance-enhancing drugs, right? So therefore, it should be okay for people like me to ask about the state of the B sample and what happened with UCAD, right? I'm not asking for anything that these people aren't asking for anybody else. That's my point. Let me check my emails quickly. Right, looks like nobody wants to come on, so probably for the best that we don't get Abdul on, but it is what it is. Bright House, is that shit still operating? Of course. Bright House is still in business because of IFL TV viewers. Apparently Otto Wallin, the onus is not on Dillian Whyte to do the. And let me say one thing, and then we'll finish up. Should I tell you how embarrassing that these guys are? Should I tell you how embarrassing this media is? It's so funny how rematch clauses, obligations, and agreements only seem to count when it's in favour of the British fighter. Oh no, Andy Ruiz needs to rematch Anthony Joshua. Why? Because he agreed to. He signed a contract he agreed to. So if he's a man of his word, then he should rematch Anthony Joshua. Why? Why can't he just drop the belts? AJ can fight somebody else for the belts, and Andy Ruiz can go into a super fight with Tyson Fury or somebody else. No. He has to give Anthony Joshua a chance. Why? Because that's what he agreed to. That's what's right to do. Okay. So what about what's right between Dillian Whyte and Otto Wallin? Dillian Whyte signed an agreement that he fought Otto Wallin, right? So what about his moral obligations? Oh no, that don't count. Oh, it's just boxing business. Oh, Dillian would be an idiot to fight him again. Oh, I see. Right. Can you see where we're going with this then? So when a match and fighter gets beat, so when Povetkin knocked out Dillian Whyte, right? When Povetkin knocked out Dillian Whyte, what, really should Povetkin have had a rematch? There was no need for a rematch. He knocked him out. It was conclusive finish. Yeah, but Povetkin signed an agreement. So, he's morally obligated to. Well, screw the agreement. Why does a Povetkin just try to get out of that agreement and go and fight somebody else? No, they can't do that, Ultra. There's morals in boxing. Nah, Dillian deserves his chance. Oh, okay. But all of a sudden, agreements and morals don't count when it's Otto Wallin, does it? All of a sudden, the non-British fighter is affected, and all of a sudden, all this sense of agreements and morality gets thrown out of the window. Don't count no more. Oh, it's a foreign fighter. Oh, these agreements don't count. What about all the money that Otto Wallin paid for in sparring partners, paid for nutritionists? Oh, that don't matter. Otto Wallin's not British. We don't care about Otto Wallin. Screw Otto Wallin. Screw how much money he spent on his own camp. Screw the 20 grand he just threw down the drain. Screw Otto Wallin. It's strange that, isn't it? The same Otto Wallin who up until 5 months ago, these same morons who were turning around and saying, oh, it'd be stupid for Whyte to fight Wallin, it could be a banana skin. These were the same morons that were calling him a bum about fucking 12 months ago. Am I wrong in that? These same absolute morons who were turning around and saying, no, why should Whyte fight Wallin? It could be a banana skin. 12 months ago, you were calling the guy a bum. You can't make this crap up. You absolutely cannot make this crap up. You can't. You can't make this stuff up. But look, let's beat up Ultra. Let's call out Ultra. Because he's asking the questions, right? That's what we do in Britain, right? If somebody gets a little bit too close to the bone, let's start threatening them. Let's start setting other people's brothers on them. Let's start setting up other people in the media and sending other people in the media after them. Let's do that. Because he's asking a few too many questions. He's getting a bit too close to the bone, he is. It's funny how that works, isn't it? All these agreements, rematch clauses. You know what? Morality, rematch clauses, agreements only seem to matter when it's a match and fighter, don't they? When it's a non-match and fighter, screw the other guy. Right, last chances. Does anybody want to come on? Has to be someone that we know. So I'm looking through here. Somebody like a Marco, Yo King, and if it's up to you. If anybody wants to come on, if you want to come on, let me know and I can email you a link. Hit the like, hit the subscribe if you can. 99 people, 51 likes. Not too bad. We get a few more likes. That'd be nice. What gloves did I order? Twins. I've ordered a pair of twins. I've got a pair of 16-ounce twins arriving midweek. Let's go through some questions. Let's go through your comments. Davis and Dave says, can we remember that a few years ago, Eddie Hearn was dead against rematch clauses for the good of the sport? Well, of course, innit? Well, what happened to Wilder and Fury are holding up the division with their rematch clauses? 2 seconds later, the same people are thinking, Oh, AJ deserves his rematch clause. AJ, a rematch clause for a mandatory. It's embarrassing. A rematch clause. Usyk was railroaded into signing a bloody rematch clause for his mandatory. And he beat Anthony Joshua so conclusively. There's no need for a flipping rematch. Beat him conclusively in his own backyard and then he stopped him in the final round. What are we seeing a flipping rematch for? It was conclusive, right? Oh, I forgot. When it's Matchroom, it's a different ball game. And then you get the usuals come, I'm biased. Do you know, it's the same guys that accuse me of being biased. It's so funny. It's the same guys who are accusing me of being biased who are taking your money and then can't ask the questions because he's my mate. Oh, no, I can't ask that. He's my mate. I can't answer that question. He's my mate. Can't ask that question. Sorry, he's my mate. I can't ask that. But please give me money. Give me money. But I'm unbiased. Marco says Hearn thinks he's clever, but he's been found out. Listen, honestly to gosh, yeah, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. The only way Eddie Hearn is getting bailed out, right, is if DAZN by BT Sport or if DAZN get significant football rights. Period. Because the truth about Eddie Hearn is he is being found out for what he is. Let me say this, right, and I've been saying this for a while. Let me say this, right. Frank Warren should have been put out of business by Eddie Hearn 10 years ago. I'm surprised people can't see this. If Eddie Hearn actually knew anything about the sport of boxing, Frank Warren would have been run out of business 10 years ago. How Frank Warren has managed to survive with the financial problems that he's had for the last 10 years through Box Nation and all sorts. When Matchroom had Sky and Frank Warren was on Box Nation, do you not understand? That should have been the end of Frank Warren. Frank Warren should never have been able to survive past Box Nation. How did Frank Warren get by? The only reason why Frank Warren survived in the sport up to this point is because he knows way more about boxing than Eddie Hearn. And because what he did to survive was build up and bring up young talent. Matchroom don't know how to do that. All Matchroom do is sign talent that other people have built. And if you look at Next Gen, where is Matchroom Next Gen? Dead. Am I right? Am I wrong? There's no more Next Gen, right? Are we in agreement on that? Sky and Matchroom Next Gen is dead. Why is that? Because all the fighters got beat within a year or 2 years or 3 years. Pretty much all of these fighters to a T got beat. Andy Fowler just got stopped in the M&S Bank Arena by Liam Beefy Smith, who's coming towards the end of his flipping career. That's why there's no more Next Gen. Next Gen's finished. Because everybody, with the exception of Boatsy and Nicole, pretty much everybody with the exception of those two fighters and maybe a few more, got found out and beat. Shannon Courtney can't even make weight for a world title fight. That's why there's no more Next Gen. If you had a decent promoter who understood about boxing running Sky and Matchroom, Frank Warren would have been finished 10 years ago. The reason why Frank Warren survives is because Eddie Hearn doesn't know what the fuck he's doing and that he only knows how to promote himself. GP Poker says Frank Warren was like that violinist in Titanic during Box Nation. How was he allowed to survive? Nobody asked these questions. How on earth was Frank Warren able to survive in his on a shoestring budget against the might of Matchroom and Sky and still make world champions? And still make world champions on a shoestring budget. That straight away tells you that Eddie Hearn is not the promoter that people crack him up to be. Because any other promoter, that had been in the States and Frank Warren was in that same situation and Al Heyman was on the other side, he'd have been finished. He'd have been done. He'd have been absolutely finished. The fact that he's still around today under those circumstances tells you everything you need to know. Tells you everything you need to know. The fact that there's no more Sky Next Gen tells you everything that you need to know. There you go, look. I'm not lying, look. Pericles says he ruined almost every 2016 Olympian. Look what's gone on with Joshua Buatsy's career. Joshua Buatsy's career has been a disgrace. And I tell you what, you know all these Olympians from this Olympics, I know Matchroom have first dibs on them, but I haven't seen anybody sign for them. Have you seen any of them sign for Matchroom yet? Fraser Clarkson, all that. I would tell them, beware. Well, look what happened to the last batch of Olympians Matchroom try to sign. Look at the last batch of Team GB Matchroom try to sign, and look what happened to them. Look what happened to them. Am I lying? It is what it is. But like I said, I cannot, when it comes time for interview time, we can't ask Eddie Hearn these questions because Eddie's my mate, so I can't ask Eddie. Eddie's my mate. Those questions are off limits because Eddie's my mate. I can't ask Dillian these questions because Dillian might beat me up. Well, then why are you taking money from people? If you're going to take money from people, ask the proper questions. If you can't ask the proper questions, hang up your mic, retire, go away, and leave it to somebody that can do it. Simple. If you can't ask the questions, you're not a journalist. Simple as that. If you're not a journalist, stop taking money off people. Stop putting advertisers on your videos. Hang up your little microphone and retire and go and do a proper day job. Go back to supermarket stacking shelves. Go back to the used car lot selling used Ford Mondeos. Go back to doing whatever you was doing. But don't pretend you're a journalist if you're fucking too shook to answer the most basic GD questions, right? Richard from Twitter says, Frank Warren made Terry Flanagan a world champion, while Joe Cordina has got a vacant WBA Continental during all of that time. Joe Cordina's another one. I don't know what's going on with that guy. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. Right. Any final comments? $106 people, 59 likes. Say a prayer for me. Because you know what's going to happen? I'm the one who's going to get threatened as a result of this. And let me make it clear, right? One more time for those people who don't understand. Because you know some of these people that listen to this show, they hate the show, but they listen to every single episode. See, that in itself is the number one sign of mental illness. Do you know, I'm not going to mention names, right? Do you know yesterday? Let me just say this quickly. Do you know yesterday I had somebody subscribe to this channel and message me and say, oh, you blocked me before, but it's okay. Now I'm unblocked. You shouldn't have unblocked me in the first place. Do you know how much I have to deal with this every day with people who claim they hate this show, but they will do anything in their power to subscribe. They will do anything in their power to subscribe. They'll make 10 accounts to keep commenting. You ban them on one account, they'll make another account. You ban them on that account, they'll make another account. They won't stop. They will not stop, but they hate this show so much. But then, do you know every time somebody subscribes to this channel, I get a notification in my inbox saying this individual has subscribed. Do you know how many times I've looked in his inbox and I've seen somebody that's been banned previously, claims to hate the show, Ultra scum. Let's get Ultra's address. Beat up Ultra. Let's challenge Ultra to a spar. I want to fight Ultra. Ultra's a scumbag. Ultra's a coward. Ultra's scared. And then I get the notification. XYZ subscribe to your flipping channel. Do you know that? I get the notification, man. In my inbox. Every day. XYZ subscribe to your channel. And you're telling me that these people don't have serious mental illnesses. That's what you're telling me. That these people do not have a serious mental illness. Are you mad? There's certain YouTube channels that I can't stand. And you know what? I never watch them. It's like IFL TV. I hardly watch it. I normally have people watch it for me. People will come to me and say, oh, Ultra, this is what this guy said. I don't watch it. Because I don't like it. Unless it's something that I'm doing it for this show where I have to know the facts, right? But I don't like it. If I don't like something, I don't watch it. But apparently these people, you guys seem to think that these people are mentally stable individuals. I guarantee you, if you walked into this lot's bathroom cabinet and opened the fucking door, do you know how much bloody medication you'd see in that cabinet? Do you know how much medication you'd see in that frigging cabinet? If you went into some of these individuals' bathroom cabinets. It looked like a flipping trap house. If you went into some of these individuals' bathroom cabinets and saw what they were on, it would look like a damn trap house. Innit, Shevin? If I don't like a restaurant, I don't eat there. These individuals, they hate the restaurant, but they come in every time and ask what's on the set menu. That's what these guys do, innit? I hate this restaurant. I can't stand this restaurant. And they come in every single day. Yeah, what's on the set menu? Well, what's on the set menu? Can I have a number one, please, with sweet and sour pork and fried rice, please? Can I have a number two, please, for £5.90? Can I have the lunchtime special, please? Hold on a minute. You just told me you hate the food. Why are you fucking in here for? And you've seen in the past, I've actually asked these individuals. You guys know, innit? That individual, I asked him, I said, why do you keep, you're cussing my mum. You're saying I'm not black. My mum's this, my mum's that. You're calling me every name under the sun, right? But you keep commenting on this channel. You keep trying to phone into the channel. And what do we get back? Well, I don't mind the channel, really. What the fuck? Well, I don't mind the channel, really. It's just that, what? That's what's going on right now. Mental illness in the community is real, bros. I'm just telling you. Mental illness in this community is real. A few people, like I said, need to top up on that subscription. Definitely. They need that sertraline, 50 megs, 100%, man. They need to go to the doctors and get some, what is it called? Citopramazole or whatever it is. And take as many of them tablets as they can until they start straightening themselves out. Toby Blair says it's all a bit of a laugh. No, it's not. That's the point. It's not a laugh at all. It's not a laugh. Because you know why it's not a laugh? And I'll say this in closing. It's not a laugh because this stuff now is going beyond YouTube. That's my issue. What's going on now? This stuff now is starting to get hot. It's starting to get into stuff that has nothing to do with boxing, and it's now starting to get into stuff that's got nothing to do with YouTube. And you're going to see that in the next couple of weeks. This stuff has got absolutely nothing to do with YouTube. And that's why I don't want any part of it, innit? It's not a laugh, is it? People are saying they want to do this to you and do that to you, Toby Players. I know you mean well, Toby, but it's not a laugh at all. Because when you get people that are saying, we know where you are, we know where you live, all of a sudden it stops becoming a laugh, innit? But it is what it is, innit? But like I said before, you're going to see it now coming up now in the next couple of weeks. There's going to be all kinds of crazy shit happening online. And a bunch of people getting involved that don't need to be involved. And I'm going to do my best ability to stay out of it and watch the whole world burn down. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try and just stay out of it and watch the whole world burn down. If I'm not involved. What I would like to do is I would like to directly message certain people and say, look, stop what you're doing. If I could speak to Volt says, get the strap. Man, listen, I'm a pussy. Even if I had a strap, I wouldn't pull the trigger. Do you know what I mean? There's more pussy in me than a can of whiskers. Do you know what I mean? This is me. Hold on, I'll show you what I'm about. Whiskers. There you go. There's more pussy in me than in this bag of mackerel whiskers. Facts. So even if you gave me a gun, even if you gave me a knife, I wouldn't know what to do with it. But I'm real with you. Do you know how I roll on this channel, innit? I'm real, innit? I don't come on and pretend to be something that I'm not, right? That's the one thing about me. I don't come on and pretend to be something that I'm not. Mackerel flavor, yeah, whiskers. Who the fuck feeds their cat this shit? I love cats, I'm a huge cat fan. Like, we had a cat come over, and I thought it was a stray cat, and it turned out to be the neighbor's cat. But the cat wouldn't leave. The cat would not leave. You know why the cat wouldn't leave? Because I spoiled this damn cat. I'm a fool. I spoiled this damn cat for the best part of a week. This damn cat was living like royalty. And the cat weren't eating. Actually, no, it was eating whiskers. It liked the whiskers milk for some reason. It was obsessed with this shit. Hold on. Whiskas cat milk. This cat, let me tell you how clever this cat was, yeah? Let me tell you how clever this cat was, yeah? This cat was so clever. Do you know what it used to do when it was hungry? It used to go straight to the cupboard and open the cupboard, you know? Because it knew where the food was. So when the cat was hungry, it used to go, I'm not going to do the meow sound, but it used to meow, and it used to go to the cupboard where the food was, and it used to just open the cupboard, and it used to go for this. This is what it wanted every time. Whiskers. 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 This cat was obsessed with this Whiskers cat milk. That's all it wanted. Didn't even want the premium cat food I was giving it. It wanted Whiskers milk. This stuff was like crack to this damn cat. I love cats. But anyway, yeah, I don't pretend to be anything that I'm not, you know. For real, I don't. That's why I don't come out with that gangster talk. You feel me? That's why I don't come out with any of that gangster talk. Because a lot of gangster talk that's flying around right now. A lot of that G talk, gangster talk. Wow. I'm not involved in it, man. A lot of hot talk, innit? A lot of hot talk. I don't get involved in that stuff. G Poker says, try to get Enzo on here to talk boxing. I've tried. He's not going to come on the show. It is what it is. I'm not joking. I was fuming at him for not coming on as well because he would have had a great time. But I've tried to get people on. Let me say this as well quickly. Oh, this is interesting. Richard says, especially when... Oh, yeah. I understand that. Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Anderson says, fuck me. Can you imagine someone turning up at your door over YouTube narratives? I tell you what, if someone turned up at my door, I'd be so scared. Do you know what I'd also be scared of as well? This is what I'd also be scared of as well, right? Actually, I'm not gonna give it life. I'm not gonna give it life. I'm not gonna give it life. I want to say something else I wanted to say. Enzo, do you know what someone said to me? I think it was Mr. Anderson that said this to me. When we did the interview with you know who, I think Mr. Anderson said to me, he said, good luck trying to get anybody to come live on this channel again, like in terms of boxers. Like he said, good luck trying to get any boxer to come on this channel again. And at the time, I thought, you know what? Nah, that won't happen. They'll want to come on. You know what? Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. After I did that interview, good luck trying to get any boxers to come on here again. They're just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And let me say one other thing, by the way. I said this a million times. A lot of boxers are making the mistake about subscriber numbers. Subscriber numbers do not mean anything. And they mean literally zero. There's a channel that I follow that has nothing to do with boxing, right? It has nothing to do with boxing. It has 293,000 subscribers. They did a live show 2 weeks ago with somebody who was very, very well known in the community. They got 40 viewers. 40. Do you know we're doing 120 viewers right now as we speak? Do you know that's very, very low number for this channel at the moment? Do you know that the recent lives we've been doing have been getting 200 to 300? We did a live with Riku a couple of weeks ago. We had nearly 450 people in here. I'm telling you now, there are channels out there with 200,000 subscribers. They can't even draw 40 or 50 people on a live show. Subscribers has nothing to do with it. And a lot of boxers are making the mistake. They're looking at channels and they're saying, oh, number of subscribers. Don't look at subscribers. Look at the number of people that are actually watching. And when you've got channels that have got 50,000 subscribers, but their videos on YouTube are doing 1K, 2K, and 3K, what does that tell you? Just do the maths on that. When your channel has 50,000 subscribers, but your videos are doing 2, 3, and 4K, what does that tell you? That tells you that 50,000 people ain't watching. That's what it tells you. It tells you 50,000 people ain't watching. And it tells you even less would watch it on a live show. So forget number of subs. That doesn't mean anything. All right? Forget that. This is a good point. Prabesh Sharma says, Dillian said Tyson is losing his touch. Been in too many wars. I agree with him. I definitely agree with him. Listen, Dillian's got a shot at Tyson. Anything can happen in a fight. Tyson might have a bad camp. Tyson might get injured. Tyson might not be on it on that night. Dillian Whyte might hit him with the big left hook. Dillian Whyte might break his ribs with a body shot. Anything can happen in the ring. So yeah, Dillian Whyte can beat Tyson Fury. Right, I'm going to dash, yeah, but let me just finish off by saying this as well, and then I'll leave it, yeah? The other thing about that I disagree with as well is people calling fighters cowards, right? And I'm seeing it as well now on YouTube. I'm not going to name names, but I saw a video, was it Fury fans are scared of Dillian Whyte? What the fuck are these people on? Don't bring the fans into it. I really don't understand this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, Fury fans are scared of Dillian Whyte. Like, the thing I don't understand, and this is the problem that we've got with YouTube at the minute, right? And this is how it's best to say it, right? The problem that we've got on YouTube is we've got a bunch of people who don't fight, talking like they're getting in the ring and fighting. That's the biggest problem that we have on YouTube right now. Bunch of dudes who don't get in the ring and fight are talking like they're actually getting in the ring and doing the fighting. Do you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. That's the problem that we've got right now. Oh, well, Tyson Fury fans are scared of Dillian Whyte, and these set of fans, Wilder fans are scared of Whyte, and these fans are... What the fuck? You're not getting in the ring and fighting. Why are you talking like you're getting in the ring? You're not fighting you're not getting in the ring. You're not a professional fighter. You can't fight for Dillian Whyte. You're not the one who's going to be fighting Tyson Fury. It's weird as fuck. This stuff is weird as fuck. It's proper weird. Like, I'm telling you, these dudes have serious mental problems. People need to start, instead of handing these people money, you guys need to start asking questions about, about these people's sanity. That's so weird. Oh yeah, these fans are scared of these. Why would fans be scared of what the fuck? These dudes, the way these dudes are talking, it's like they're gonna get in the ring and take the punches. I've never seen anything like it before. Like, these guys are talking like they're gonna get in the ring with Tyson Fury and they're gonna take the punches. It's fucking bizarre, man. Man, this shit's bizarre. What can I do, man? You know my opinion, man. I'm only interested in boxing. You guys know me. I'm only interested in boxing. I'm not interested in fighting YouTubers. I'm not interested in sparring YouTubers. I'm not interested in fighting anybody. I'm not interested in anybody coming to my door. I'm not interested in going to anybody's door. I'm not interested in talking like a gangster. I'm not interested in offering anybody out. I'm not interested in any of that shit. Count me out of it. It's not for me. What I'm interested in is asking questions. Questions that paid journalists don't want to ask. That's what I'm about. Abdul, last chance. Do you want to come on? I've asked 150 times, Abdul. If you want to hop on, I will give you the link, but you've got 30 seconds to give me the answer. Because I know you're good value, and you were supposed to have a slot last week, Abdul, and we couldn't get you on because of mic problems. So it's up to you. No pressure, Abdul, but you need to give me an answer in the next 10 seconds. If you're interested, let me know in the next 10 seconds. Okay, he wants to come on, yeah. Let me get Abdul's opinion, because I promised Abdul a slot last week, and he didn't get his slot. Abdul, you've been sent the link. So Abdul, if you check the link will be on. All right, simple. Abdul, check the link. Marco, you're another one, Marco. If you want to jump on, I'm happy to send you a link. It's not a problem. But Abdul's going to be coming on. And the worst thing is, you guys know Abdul's raw. You know Abdul's raw. You know Abdul's raw. Abdul's rawer than me. All these guys want to come and beat me up. You need to go and beat up Abdul. When Dean Whyte turns up at my door, I'm giving him Abdul's address. Dean Whyte goes, I'm saying, Dean, you need to go and see. It's this Abdul guy. He's the real problem. That's what I'm going to do. Abdul's more ruthless than me. So we're just waiting for Abdul to pop in here. I've got, let me say, yeah, big up George C. I haven't seen the Jamal Herring fight. Sorry, guys. I've been so busy with work. I haven't seen it. But but I will try and get around to it at some point. Let's have a look. Marco says Whyte's a no-name. If he had any profile in the States, he'd have been ironed out by everybody by now. Having said that, Whyte has ducked Ortiz, Brazil, Pulev, and Wallin, so maybe he would have ducked. It's funny, isn't it? Otto Wallin's a bum, isn't he? It's funny how the can man, who can fight everybody, won't fight a guy that his own fans were calling a bum about 12 months ago. It's so funny how life works, isn't it? It's so funny how the can man won't fight a guy whose own fans were calling him a bum about 12 months ago. Now it's the same fans turning around and saying shit like, oh, it's too risky. It's too risky. Why would Dillian risk it? Well, my question is, what's the risk? You've been calling Otto Wallin a bum for 12 months. So what's the risk? Now all of a sudden it's too risky and Alan Babbage needs to step in as the bodyguard. And Abdul's here. Let me just say this before I bring Abdul in. It's more of this bodyguard shit, innit? Look. It's more of this bodyguard shit, innit? What is it with this bodyguard shit in boxing? What is it? What is it with this shit in the sport of boxing? The bodyguard. Dillian Whyte is Whitney Houston and flipping Otto and flipping Alan Babbage as Kevin Costner now. Is that what we're talking about now? What is this bodyguard shit in boxing? If you sign to fight, you fight the guy. What is this stuff? Oh no! If Otto Wallin's really about that business, he'll fight Alan Babbage. What the fuck is this shit now? What is this stuff? Oh no, I'm not fighting you, but you can fight my friend. What is this bodyguard shit that's going on in boxing, innit? The bodyguard. You know, if I wasn't gonna get done for copyright, I'll play the theme tune to the song right now. If I didn't have such a bad voice, I'd sing you the theme tune. Let me bring Abdul in. Hold on, let me get my mic ready. Abdul, unmute yourself, brother.
Ultra.
We can hear you for a change, live, loud and clear. Let me just set this up. Abdul, thank goodness you're here. Abdullah, sorry, my bad. No disrespect. Right,
no, it's fine, bro. It's fine.
Right,
Yeah,
listen. Yeah, games you love, innit? Yeah. These Dillian Whyte fans, innit? Hold on, Abdul. Let me just meet you for a sec. Well, let me get this joke done quickly. But these Dillian Whyte fans out here talking about fight Alan Babbage instead. These dudes be singing, and I will always love you. These guys are doing Whitney Houston theme tunes, man. These guys are embarrassing. What is it? I can't work it out. What is it? 1 minute you're talking that G shit. Next minute you're singing Whitney Houston songs. I can't work out which one it is. What is it? Abdul, give your opinion. Abdul, I'm gonna go and get myself a cup of tea. So the show's yours. Can you see comments?
I can have. Let me have. Yeah, I can kind of see them now. Yeah.
Abdul, it's your show, right? I'm gonna go and get a cup of tea. Handle it however you want to handle it. Abdul, just give your opinion on the whole situation. Do what you want. Do your thing.
Listen, I don't buy that he's injured. He might be injured, but it might not be as severe as he's saying, because he went through with a shoulder injury in an AJ fight. So you were willing to go and risk losing your British title against AJ with a bad shoulder. And we know AJ's levels above Wallin because they've had a fight in amateur days as well. And AJ had a points victory over him, but now you can see the difference that AJ's developed a lot more compared to Wallin. So for me, I think it was a tactical maneuver by Eddie Hearn and the people, because they realized that, Wallin is actually decent and he might actually upset the apple cart. And Whyte's, he wants to fight for that world title. But what baffles me is why didn't he fight AJ when he had the opportunity to fight AJ for the multiple titles? It's as if he's, in a way intimidated of AJ. It's so easy to fight AJ compared to Tyson, compared to getting a WBC belt. Why are you chasing a WBC belt so bad when you could have had a shot at 3 belts against AJ?
Abdul, let me just jump in. What you're saying is 100% correct. Let me quickly jump in as well. This is the question that I've been asking of Whyte, yeah? Again, so nobody will ask him. All this with the WBC, suing the WBC, legal action against the WBC. who's pushing White to do all this stuff when he could have had a shot again? The money wasn't right. I agree with Dillian Whyte. Listen, the money for the Anthony Joshua fight, in my opinion, was not right. I think Matchroom were definitely shafting him on the money. So I do think he was right, yeah, in a way, to probably not take that fight because the money wasn't right, yeah. But what is this obsession with the WBC? Someone seems to be pushing him to go into these extreme lengths, taking legal action. You had a shot. One of the guys in the same stable as you had 3 other belts. You could have fought in an in-house fight for the Unified Heavyweight Championship of the world, but you didn't want to do that. But you're willing to take legal action against the WBC. I think Dillian's been pushed into doing it. I think someone's advising him to do this stuff, and I think I know who's doing it. Oh, Abdul's just dropped off. My bad. But Abdul will come back. He's just dropped off. Maybe Dean Whyte just sniped him through the bloody window. Maybe Dean Whyte just did a drive-by on him through the window. But that's my question. What do you guys think in the chat? I think someone's putting Whyte up to it. 100%. That's what I think. I believe Dillian Whyte's been put up to all this WBC stuff. It doesn't make any sense when you had a guy in the same stable who had all those titles. If I was Eddie Hearn, right, surely you'd have said, look, if the WBC are screwing you, then let's work it out and give you a shot against Anthony Joshua for all the belts, right? Is that right or is that wrong? Am I right or am I wrong? Abdul's got me worried here. I might have to call the ambulance. See, this is what happens when you start speaking the truth, innit? You get sniped out. Who's pushing Dillian Whyte for this WBC thing? Who's pushing Dillian Whyte to sue the WBC when he's got a champion in the same stable, 3 belts and a world champion in the same stable, and that fight's not on the table? But we can sue the WBC, right? It's funny, isn't it? I think there's something else going on. Abdul's back. I think there's something else going on. Hold on. Carry on, Abdul. Carry on.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, you had the opportunity to fight AJ. You could have negotiated. You could have went back to the drawing board and, state your case and whatnot. That would have sold the Wembley. I know Matchroom like stadium fights, and for some reason the British fans like it. I don't get it. You go into a stadium to look at a screen. Why didn't you just stay home?
So we'll get to that in a minute, Abdul.
Yeah.
Abdul, let me hit you up on that right now before I forget. Abdul, what is this fucking obsession with stadium fights? The amount of these idiots that I see talking about, but it's gonna be in the stadium. What does it matter to you? Why does it matter to fans how many people are at the venue and whether it's in a stadium or not? Since when did we start giving a shit about this? Go on, Abdul.
I don't know. I mean, the fans are just, I don't know, they're a different breed. They're just weird, man. They talk about stuff that, shouldn't really matter to us fans. We just want to see the fights. We want to see them promptly. We want to see them at a time where both of the fighters are in their prime, marinating and things like that. Okay, I can understand business sense, but a lot of over marination is going on nowadays where the fighters are past there and they're just chucking him in there. I think as far as UK boxing, to be honest, they just keep the prospects ticking along, and then they give them a big fight. Yesterday we saw a masterclass by Stevenson. This morning, what a masterclass, and that's what we are, up against. They've got so many stars that are incoming now. Benavidez was already won a world title, got some discipline issues, but he's a class act. Boots and Teofimo and Haney, and we can go on, but where's the next star? Conor Ben?
Hold on, Abdul. You're being unfair there. I mean, listen, they might have Teofimo and Boots and Shakur Stevenson, but hold on a minute. We've got fucking what's his name? Conor Ben. He's a big star. We've got Conor Ben coming through. Well, Andy Fowler's still young.
He's nearing 30. He's done. He just got beaten by Fringe World title.
What about the Romford Bull? We got the Romford Bull. He sold 1,500 tickets the other day, Abdul. Romford Bull.
Yeah, he's not gonna last long. Just give Jared Anderson a call. The big baby will just put him away.
Carry on.
So the big baby will put him away. But Dillian Whyte. I mean, he had the opportunity to fight AJ. I just don't get it. You should have fought AJ. And now that maybe a lot of fighters are coming out of the woodwork since Andy Ruiz did his thing, now a lot of fighters are coming out of the woodwork now, and suddenly they're feeling a bit more brave when it comes to AJ. Now they're happy to take the fight. But obviously still you have to get the 70-30% to AJ plus a rematch clause. Otherwise, you're not fighting that guy. Yeah, I mean rematches are just what's killing the heavyweight scene, and rematch clauses for an interim title. It's a new thing that Eddie Hearn has brought along. So we got him to thank him for.
Let me cut you off. Let me ask you one thing, Abdul. What do you think about tweets like this, which I'm sure you've seen, but what do you think about tweets like this? These are from like accredited journalists are tweeting things like this. They're saying that Whyte withdrawal makes boxing and business sense. Do you think there's a serious problem in the media where all of a sudden Otto Wallin was on his way to the flipping airport? He was told on the way to the airport that his fight was off and that he just waited 20 grand on trainers and whatnot and sparring, completely down the flipping drain. And it seems like the British media is turning around and is saying this is acceptable.
It's not. It's double standards, isn't it? But that's what it's like with the Brits. It's double standards. It's one rule for one party, and there's another rule for another party. And this gentleman here you've posted about his tweets, he's an MMA guy. His boxing knowledge is limited. He's an MMA guy. So
is he been in the cage?
No, his main focus is covering MMA.
Oh, so he's like Gareth Davis, yeah?
He's like that Catterall guy as well who comes on BT. They're like UFC guys. So they boxing really isn't their domain. But I'm guessing everyone wants to see Dillian Whyte get that title shot so bad. But he could have, for me, he could have fought AJ a long time ago, and he could have, he could have had 2 title shots by then. But he's the one who's, an architect of his failure, to be honest with you. So I don't have much sympathy for him. All these people have sympathy for him, but not me. I mean, you had the chance to fight AJ, and you said no, and it's an in-house fight, and you can do it. What this reminds me of, what he's trying to do with Babbage. It reminds me of Errol Spence and Floyd Mayweather. Errol Spence, when he was a prospect, came to the gym, in Floyd Mayweather's gym, to spar him. And by all accounts, he gave him the work. He gave him the work. And Floyd Mayweather wasn't happy. He was upset and he stormed off the gym and things like that, apparently. So what's happened is he used Errol Spence as a guard dog, as you're saying now. And because Keith Thurman wanted to fight him at the time. So he said, no. You're not going to fight me just like that. You have to go through my guy, Spence, and then you can fight me. And this is a common boxing strategy that people utilize. I doubt Babbage is any good. He shouldn't be said in the same breath as Errol Spence, but it's the same sort of idea that you get someone as a stumbling block. And what's funny is Eddie Hearn uses Dillian Whyte in that role for AJ.
Mate, remember when David Haye came back to boxing, right? And David Haye said, I want to fight Anthony Joshua, right? Right? The first thing that Eddie Hearn said was, fight Dillian Whyte first. That's what David Haye was told. I might even get the article up. That's what Eddie Hearn said, fight Dillian Whyte first. When Deontay Wilder wants to fight Anthony Joshua, fight Dillian Whyte first. Same thing, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean, and now, the chips are down for Matchroom. They need Dillian Whyte to get that WBC belt. I doubt he gets it. He's just a little bit, in my book, he's a little bit better than Chisora. And we've seen what Tyson Fury did to Chisora back then. So what about now with all the knowledge he has and the know-how and the experience that he's gained, and having Javon Sugar Hill behind him who's a proper trainer, and they've understood the system. It's not a new system. It's a system that they know, that they've done multiple times. So they're confident now. It's going to be hard beating Tyson Fury now, I think. And, it's not really the best time to fight him. The best time to fight him was when he was coming off the layoff. But now he's motivated. He's somewhat in shape. I mean, he could get better, but, that's where I could see him getting better. Perhaps get more athletic, more endurance, work on that body, tighten that midsection, because when he gets hit to the midsection, he doesn't like it. And it seems as though it's a bit wobbly there. So he needs to get at it tighter, because, having a tight midsection is what absorbs the punches. I'm not saying it's not going to hurt, but it's going to absorb it a bit better than what's going on now, because it's soft. All
Listen,
it takes, you know.
I think Fury's gonna get beat soon if he continues to perform like he performed against Wilder. That's my opinion. I don't think it was a great performance at all. I think he's way too hittable. Walked onto too many big shots in the fight.
Yeah.
Where he should have closed that fight out. Even how he closed the fight out, he's smothering his work way too much. You know, if Fury
He
just
uses
he
dirty
closed
tactics,
that
to be
fight
honest.
even sooner. Smothered his own work. It wasn't good.
Yeah.
Wasn't good at all. Carry on.
What he uses is a lot of forearms, a lot of elbows. He puts the forearm on the throat of the fighter. If you see, there's a few instances he put it on the throat of Dillian Whyte, and then he punches. Another tactic he likes to do is sort of hold the head with the, not hold it, but sort of position the head, and then smash with his right hand. Which, if you're a boxer like a Usyk, who's got his wits about him, who's got good engine, good feet, you're not gonna let him do that. But he does a lot of dirty tactics that I'm surprised a lot of referees let him get away with. Really surprised what they let him go away with. It's crazy. It's just dirty tactics, but I guess that's fighting. That's what they call inside fighting. But
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. A lot of fighters, a lot of good fighters know how to do that. That is a skill. I know you may think it's dirty, but it's definitely a skill.
yeah, it's a skill.
You know Floyd was big for that, using the forearm.
Yeah, Floyd
You know
as
that?
well. Yeah,
Yeah, forearm in the face. Kell
Yeah.
Brook and Galahad, they're not
Yeah.
inside fighters, yeah? So
Yeah.
what they do is they like to, when fighters come on the inside, you see them. As soon as the fighter dips down, you see they put the forearm on the top of their head.
Yeah.
Yeah, pin them down, keep the forearm on the top of their head to nullify them on the inside. Very good stuff. No, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Errol Spence utilized against Sean Porter. If you go look at that knockdown, if you see in slow motion, he actually has his left hand glove up on top of his head, sort of positioning the head, keeping it there, and then he lets go a hellacious right hook, and then the guy's down.
Yeah, there you go.
So that's what the Americans do, and I'm guessing that's what Sugar Hill, has implemented in Fury's game. These little tactics that Americans have been known to utilize, and the Brits as well, but it's mainly an American thing that they utilize a lot.
Let me ask you quickly, Abdul, about Whyte. Yeah, I want to ask you. I can't understand. We've heard for years now, right? Everybody's ducking Whyte. These fighters are cowards. Whyte. I've heard people say Whyte is the most avoided man in boxing. I've heard people say Whyte's one of the most avoided men in the history of boxing. From a neutral observer looking through, Abdul, do you see anything? I'm not saying Dillian Whyte can't beat Tyson Fury, because anything can happen in the boxing ring, right? But what is it about Dillian Whyte that makes these fighters scared? I ask this question on every time we do a show on Dillian Whyte. I never seem to get an answer. When Anthony Joshua looks at footage of Dillian Whyte, when Tyson Fury looks at footage of Dillian Whyte, when Deontay Wilder looks at footage of Dillian Whyte, what are they seeing in this footage of his fights that make them so scared to the point where they have to engage in a worldwide conspiracy headed by the WBC to deny this man a title shot?
They're not scared. They're not scared. He's got a lot of flaws, but then again, that's because of his kickboxing career. He's come into boxing late, and there's a lot of tendencies that he has from kickboxing that's very difficult to undo. A bit like Gerald Miller, he's a kickboxer too.
Correct.
But they come into the game for extra money, because kickboxing is not a sport that pays a lot of money. So they come in, and he has to unlearn a lot of things, whereas AJ is boxing and that's all he knows. So he's gonna always be technically better than Whyte because of that. That's the only sport he done. And same with Wilder. I believe Wilder would beat Whyte if they come. But I don't know how much that fight Otto Fury took out of him. He took a lot of punishment, and I'm not sure if he's going to be the same again, because that was a lot of punishment he took from Fury. In terms of Tyson Fury, I don't think Tyson Fury got anything to worry about him. The best chance Whyte has is to come inside and target the body, but he's not much of a body puncher, so I don't know where he's going to win. And Fury, obviously, he's going to keep it long with him. And if he needs to get dirty, he'll use his elbows and he'll put his weight on him, and he knows all these different tactics. So I don't think Whyte is a scary proposition as people say he is. He's a marketing ploy that Matchroom have utilized to make him seem like he's the most dangerous man. He's not. But in boxing, we don't really appreciate the can man. He calls himself the can man. I don't believe he's a can man. The real can man is Adrian Broner for me. The amount of people he fought.
actually does fight anybody, to be honest.
That is my real Khan man, and he doesn't get any respect from anyone, but he gets my respect because he fights everyone. He don't care, That's a real fighter. But then it shows you how boxing has fallen. That when you have a real Khan man like Adrian Broner, you just get ridiculed rather than being praised for it. And if you got a fake Khan man like White, then everyone says he's being avoided.
Adrian Broner legitimately dropped Sean Porter on his ass in the 12th round of the fight. He legitimately dropped him with a shot. Sean Porter never fell. He took a shot from Adrian Broner. Adrian Broner legitimately put him on the floor. People forget that.
Yeah, Adrian Broner.
Porter's hardly been fought. Errol Spence obviously hurt him late, but
yeah,
one of the best chins in boxing. Broner actually put him in his ass in the last round of them fight.
Broner, he's got issues outside the ring, but I believe if he was focused, he could have been a lot better. But that just goes to show that the heart he has. He just fought everyone. That's the real Khan man, and we don't appreciate the real Khan man. So all the boxers now are afraid of fake Khan man.
Would Broner have the heart to go fight the great Kubrat Pulev in Bulgaria? What about
that? Well, they're not in the same weight class, but he wouldn't care. He would do it. It's the money, right?
I think he would look at the challenge of the great Kubrat Pulev and he'd say, "Nah, there's not enough money in this for me. Go fight someone else."
Yeah, I mean, Broner is gonna always have money. That's what he has because he's a marketing genius in a way. But White, he should have taken that fight. Instead, Hugh Fury went out there, and even Hugh Fury, he got outboxed conclusively. But for me, the matchroom heavyweights, they all want it on their side. They all want home comforts. They don't want to go abroad. For AJ now, the character building he has to go through is because he never fought for his world title against a champion in his hometown, in his own area.
No, wait, you can't criticize Anthony Joshua. What about his resume? His
resume is good, but he's had them all hand delivered. He's had them all hand delivered. He's like Uber Eats. He had all his fights in Uber Eats. They had him delivered to him.
Uber Eats.
Yeah, it's Uber Eats. It's basically all Uber Eats. He had all his fighters. They came to him rather than him going. Look at the character building that Errol Spence went through. Do you think he went to Sheffield in a big, stadium where people were giving him all types of stick? He was hostile. The only people who were really supporting him is the small, entourage that came with him, which consists of his wife, his family, his kids, and a few other family members. And he went in there and he got the belts from the champion and won it. AJ had Charles Martin, which is not even a formidable champion, and he had him hand delivered to London rather than going to America. So for me, he's lost a lot of. That's the issues he's facing now. I think a lot of it, yes, it's boxing ability, but a lot of it as well, the mental side, is because he hasn't got the title in a proper way by going to the hometown.
But hold on, what about that run of fights he had? So like Brazil, Molina, Parker, Takam, are these not character building fights? Like, listen, you're going into the fucking trenches with Takam. Like, it's one of the biggest challenges in all of boxing, isn't it?
I mean, look, even Parker, why didn't you go to New Zealand, fight Parker in New Zealand? You would end my respect there. Instead, you got him hand delivered to London, and you had some funny ref as well to help you out with that, to help you out with the job, because every time Parker came inside, the ref stopped it. So Parker's game couldn't be executed. So I'm going to be surprised if it's all a collusion. But for me, he should have fought the people, even his mate now, Lawrence Okoli. Just looking at it, he's the same thing as well.
Yeah, I worry about Okoli when he gets hit on the whiskers. But let me ask you something else. What do you think about while you're AJ's new trainer? How much difference do you think a new trainer would make? I'm going to tell you, Abdul. I'm on record of saying this. I believe Anthony Joshua's going to beat Usyk in this rematch, on points. That's what I'm going for. I want to go for. By the way, I'm the worst predictor. The only predictor was worse than Dwyer, but I'm actually going for AJ on points. But how much difference do you think a new trader would make? Because a lot of people are sort of hanging out hats and all these. It's the usual names. Abdul, Virgil Hunter, the usual name. His name always seems to appear everywhere. Virgil Hunter. Who else? Ronnie Shields, obviously. Who's the other? Reynoso, the Beef Man. The Beef Man's in there as well. Carry on, Abdul.
Well, Renaissance's not gonna happen because Andy Ruiz is there and Frank Sanchez is there. I'm not sure if AJ phoned ahead to check if Andy Ruiz was there or not before he turned up. But he was there anyway. Andy Ruiz wasn't there, so I'm guessing it was a day Andy Ruiz was off putting his feet up. And Virgil Hunter got Tony Yoka. No chance. That's another guy who's an Olympic gold medalist who's trying to make a name for himself, even though his career hasn't taken off as fast as I would have thought it would have. So it's not happening. He just probably came to see Joshua Buatsi. And who's the other guy? I forgot his name now.
Ronnie Shields.
Ronnie Shields as well.
Ronnie the Snitch Shields, the one who's doing 100 million interviews on Anthony Joshua. He's telling every journalist in America what Anthony Joshua has on his shreddies first thing in the morning when a man hasn't even signed an agreement with him yet.
Well, I think he's just got himself out of the running because of all that. I believe he's not gonna get the job. But I think he should go and see Derek James, perhaps. I would think you should go see him. Maybe that dog mentality of Errol Spence will rub off on him, and that mentality of Charlo will rub off on him, because the younger Charlo seems to take all comers. He doesn't care. He's not like his older brother. His older brother is a bit more tactical with his matchmaking. So I think Derek James. A few people said Buddy McGirt. I don't know, maybe. Few people have said the trainer that coached Teofimo to beat Lomachenko. I think his name is
I'll throw a name for AJ. Ben Davison. How about that? Ben Davison.
Well, he's got the undisputed 140 champion. He's got the undisputed super lightweight champion of the world. So I don't think he cares too much if he gets the job or not.
Abdul, Ben Davison, the type of guy. Let's say Anthony Joshua goes to Derek James, yeah? Ben Davison walk up to Derek James, literally the day before the fight and say, "Yo, Derek, I've just spoken to AJ. He wants me in his corner, so I'll see you in there tomorrow." And then walk off.
Derek James won't have it. You'll send him. You'll send him nicer, mate. Send him. He won't have him. He won't have him. Yeah. Derek James. That's what I can think of at the moment. But what can they teach him that he hasn't been taught? I mean, they can teach him. I think it's more of a mental thing, to be honest with you. Bomac, he might be able. Crawford's camp.
He's got to be prepared to take Abdul. He's got to be prepared, unfortunately, in this rematch of Usyk. He's got to be prepared to get hurt and, unfortunately, keep coming forward. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like it's going to have to be. To be honest, like I said
Freddie Roach, what about that? Because Freddie Roach is an offensive guy. He's going to make him offensive.
I don't really know the ins and outs on all these trainers per se, but I would say, listen, step number one for Anthony Joshua would be, and it's so funny because he showed it in the fucking Charles Martin fight. Obviously, Usyk is no Charles Martin, but it wasn't even stepping in the right direction. I mean, the way he let Usyk fucking get lead foot position was embarrassing to watch. Letting Usyk get lead foot position wasn't even stepping to his right direction. But I think, to be honest, like I said before, the number one thing that we have to see from Anthony Joshua is more than the Ruiz fight, because this is different to the Ruiz fight. To be honest, now this isn't just like he got in a ring against somebody and he wasn't right from the beginning and he got hit with a punch around the top of the head that discombobulated him and then he was never the same. No, he was fucking beaten up and he was comprehensively schooled from first bell to last bell. In the first bell, like that first round, Usyk won that round as conclusively. That's one of the most conclusive first rounds that Usyk could have hoped for. I mean, he took that first round right off Anthony Joshua. And then the last round, he nearly stopped him, right? So a completely different performance. For me, Anthony Joshua, the difference is now is when he gets hurt, unfortunately, he's going to have to bite down his gumshoe and he's going to have to walk through the shots. And I'm not a trainer of any kind, but I'll be telling Anthony Joshua, I'll be saying, look, you realise in this Usyk fight that there's a good chance that you're going to get hurt. There's a good chance that you're probably going to hit the canvas. And there's a good chance that you're going to have to get up off the canvas and keep moving. But I'm not sure if he has it in him because, unfortunately, I don't want to use the term bully, but there are some people, right? There are some people who they're very, very good at dishing it out. Yeah, you know this. And I was gonna start mentioning YouTubers again as well, but I'm trying not to. But honestly, you'd be surprised. There's some people who are very, very good at dishing it out. But unfortunately, when these people get hit on the nose and they get hurt, they check out mentally and they're never the same. Carry on, Abdul.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. He's gonna have to take one to give one. There's no way about it. That's what he's gonna have to do. And I would suggest perhaps bulking up. Stop being all this light
That will
guy.
definitely happen. That
Huh?
will definitely happen. That,
Yeah, you
I
need to
imagine
bulk
that
up,
will
man.
definitely happen.
Yeah, you gotta bulk up, be a heavyweight, and just swing and just see what happens. If you get dropped, so what? If you get knocked out and you lose, so what? You went out fighting. What do you want? Do you wanna like go through a points decision, or do you wanna just put her out there and fight? And you're gonna get the respect of the fans anyway when you go out like that. Look at
Well,
Wilder. It
yeah,
seems like
that's
his
a
approach has
great
gone up.
point. Sorry, Abdul, carry on. That's a great point. Look at the respect that Deontay Wilder. A lot of people would say Wilder's stock's actually gone up. And you know what's going into that fight, I was convinced that if you'd have told me Deontay Wilder stopped right by Tyson Fury after being beaten up, because he was beaten up towards the second half of it, after round 4, right? He was on the end of a beating, right? Is that fair to say, Abdul? He was on the end of a beating.
Yeah, that's fair.
After round 4, he's on the end of a beating, right? If you'd have told me Deontay Wilder would take a beating from round 4 to round 11 and then get knocked out, in that fight, I would say, look, after all the accusations he's made, after everything he said, he's never going to be able to live it down. That's the end of Deontay Wilder. Actually, Deontay Wilder's stock's gone through the roof. Like, there are even some people, I know you disagree, but there are even some people, I'm not saying I agree with it, but there are even some people trying to make a case for Wilder for being one of the greats of this generation off that performance. That's how much respect they have, for what he showed in that fight. And that's why I think he's going to be coming back very quickly to boxing. They're saying he's going to be back in a couple of months. And I think deep down, Wilder actually, even though he lost under the best possible circumstances, because even though he lost, as Frank Warren said, he showed that he's a champion. That nobody left that fight not a champion. He showed he's an absolute champion that will do whatever it takes to win. That's what he showed. He showed that everything he's been saying since 2017, is completely untrue, and that he will do whatever it takes to win. Now, Abdul, has Anthony Joshua ever shown in a fight that he will do whatever it takes to win? Other than the Vladimir Klitschko fight, Abdul, what would you say?
Don't know. I don't think I've seen times where it was like getting really desperate in there. Most of his fights have been pretty one-sided. Yeah, he's been buzzed against Povetkin. But he just, I don't know. Parker didn't seem like a sparring session because Parker couldn't get inside and do what he needed to do. Takam, it seemed like most of his fights were choreographed, and he knew exactly that he was going to come out on top. He had too much for his opponent. But I don't know. I mean, he's done very well for himself, to be honest. When we look at it and look at the picture, to be honest, that guy picked up boxing at 18. He sort of stumbled upon the sport in my book. He's not someone who was passionate about it or anything. He stumbled upon it, realized he can make so much money, just continued on the path and just made money. You can just see that for him it's a finance thing. It's not for the love of the sport like Tyson Fury or Usyk. These guys breathe boxing, but it seems like AJ, he's got himself to like boxing by surrounding himself with boxers, and he doesn't seem like someone who's really like sort of has been, it's like someone who's a footballer just stumbled upon it. They realize at 18 they're really good at football compared to that kid who was always wanted to be a footballer from the age of 6. They're not going to be the same. The skill set's not going to be the same.
Well, in closing, because we're going to go both. In closing, because both of us are going to go now, because I'm going to end this at the 2-hour mark. I'll give you the final say. In closing, how much pressure do you think that these fighters are under? I think someone's putting Dillian Whyte strings about this WBC stuff. I don't think this is all of his own making. By the way, let me clarify. I don't think Dillian Whyte's scared of any fighter at all. I don't think Dillian Whyte's
none of them are. They're all fighters, isn't it?
None of them are. They're all fighters, so it's nothing to do with that. But I do think that someone's putting Dillian up to this, and I agree. Anthony Joshua, I think someone's putting his strings as well. And I think, like I said before, I think I know who it is. And I think he's under, and I think this is the reason why Anthony Joshua is going into these fights with a lot of pressure, because it isn't just about Anthony Joshua. Fortunately, he's got loads of bloodsuckers and hangers-on all around him, from top to bottom, from the promoter to 258 management, because there's 258 of them in the fucking changing room, right? And Abdul, give us the final say on that.
I think the pressure is because of the fans, to be honest with you, because the fans, they're quick to write off fighters. So all of the fighters now, since the Mayweather era, are very, very afraid to take those tough fights. They're afraid to take a loss. because they're scared that the fans won't be interested in them anymore because they'll be ridiculed or something for that nature. Or back in the day, if you're a heavyweight or any type of boxer and you didn't have any losses, no one took you serious. It's like, oh, you never fought anyone real. Nowadays, you got losses. They're like, oh, he's got this issue, he got that issue, he's got this issue, and that is what's making the boxers hesitant to take the fights. So if you want to see the boxers take challenging fights, fans need to change their tune. Fans need to just stop this nonsense about, oh, or he's been undefeated, or because all we're gonna get as a result of that is manufactured people. Then as a result, you know, matchmaking them to make them look good. We're gonna have a load of Anthony Yards basically, and Conor Benz, and people like that, who they get someone and they say, I want everyone, and then really just, why are you mentioning the real guys then? If you really want everyone, you mention a few people you think you can take, but you're not mentioning the real guys who are really going to test you and put you in a really deep fight. So MMA is, I bring the comparison up. UFC, there's people who take so many losses, and the fans are gloating about the fighters later on. Oh, what a warrior! He was good. He might have been on the end of a beating for 5 rounds, but still, they give him that credit, and that's why they keep getting the fights that they want, because it's because all these fighters are willing to take it, because they know that they're gonna get the adulation of the fans no matter what, as long as they do their best. But with boxing, it's different now. Everyone wants that. Oh, no one really cares about anyone. If someone has an off night or something like that, he's written off straight away, and that's the pressure. But for AJ, I think it's financial. He's on. He's building an empire. He cares more about how it's going to affect his financials, how is it going to affect his endorsements. Because if he takes a few more losses, Lucasade won't be interested anymore. Hugo Boss won't be interested anymore. All these different people that he's got, it depends on him continuing to win. So that's why he's got that pressure around him, because he needs to continue to win, to continue having that money. I don't know how much money is enough money, Ultra. Do you know what I mean? We made so much money by now.
Anthony Joshua's got. I think Anthony Joshua's going to be fine, because I think one thing I say about Anthony Joshua is he seems to be a guy who's incredibly smart with money. Like, it doesn't seem like a Floyd to blow it all on Bentleys. I mean, it's a guy who still fucking lives at his mum's every now and again. So I think he'll be fine. But one thing I will say in closing is, Abdul, as well, and I agree with what you said, by the way, is also, I think, in terms of fans, we'll finish on this, changing our attitude. It's also for fans to remember, that we are fans. We are not fighters. And there's too many fans out there that are talking like they're fighters, like they're going to go in there and throw punches, and they're going to go in there and take punches. We are fans, We're not fighters, all right? And I think some people need to remember that. Well, you can unmute yourself, bro. It's okay. If you've got anything to say about that, you can unmute yourself.
I can't hear you, to be honest. The system is
okay.
messed up.
Okay. So, Abdul, like, in closing, I was just saying that as well. That my final thought was that you said about fans need to change their attitudes towards losses in boxing, right? And I said basically that fans need to change their attitude point blank, because we need to remember that we're fans. We're not the ones going in there doing the fighting. It seems like there are a lot of fans in a minute on YouTube that are fans of boxing. They're talking like they're the ones actually going in the ring throwing punches, but that's not the case.
I mean, I don't know, to be honest. The fans just need to, just stop following narratives. There's a lot of narratives on YouTube. A lot of people with different narratives, is whatever it may be. I mean, you've got you've got different YouTube personalities pushing out different narratives to suit the promoter that they're working with, and it's clear to see which people are working which promoters by the agendas they're pushing and the narratives they're pushing. So as a fight fan, don't get involved in all of that. Just watch the fights, and look at the fight that happened, Jamel Herring and Shakur Stevenson. Jamel Herring, he lost, but he's got a lot of respect from the fans, because he took on a challenge, a game challenge, and he just didn't hold the belt by taking on another no hope up. He took on one of the best, and it's fine. It's life goes on. Yeah, we all take losses. Everyone takes losses in different forms. It's just the fighters take their losses in the ring, and we take losses outside of the ring. There's no one undefeated out there, really. You know, it's very few Floyd Mayweathers in life, so everyone takes a loss. So it's just about picking itself up and moving on, and that's it. But anyway, man, I've got to go. But pleasure
Same here.
being on
I'm
here,
going
man.
as well. That's it. We're both going to go. That's goodbye from Abdul. Thank you, Abdul. Appreciate it, bro. That's goodbye from Abdul. And it's after 2 hours and 4 minutes, it's goodbye from me. Just if you're going to watch back this video, listen to the context of what I'm saying, because I know people are going to try and mistake what I'm saying. They're going to say Ultra's accusing someone of being a coward. Ultra's accusing someone of being a drugs cheat. It's not the case. Just listen. Open up them ears first and then make comments. Peace out.